Let your soul and spirit fly into mystic. Let your soul and spirit fly into mystic. Into mystic. Into mystic. Into mystic.
Good evening and welcome back to Mystic Matters. We are the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. Good evening, Tricia Cunningham.
Good evening, Suzette Tebus.
Well, you know who we have on this evening.
I sure do.
One
And
of your
welcome-
favorites, one of my favorites.
One of my favorites.
Yes.
Well, and I don't think we've had her on the show in months.
We haven't, and she's
So,
back.
welcome back, Kelly Mattis.
So excited to be here. Lovely to see you ladies as always.
And
Kelly, oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Everybody jumps at the opportunity
We're
to
just so
talk to me.
excited that Kelly's
So
here.
excited.
Well, but what I want to say is Kelly had a wonderful opportunity, Tricia,
Exactly.
to spend some time in Singapore, and we need to have that as a show.
Oh.
I think that's a great idea.
I think that's a wonderful idea. You come every week, every other week, and tell us about what's going on at the Mystic Aquarium. But I think we need to hear about your experience in Singapore and some of the wonderful things that you have done over there.
I could certainly fill an entire show, let me tell you, with
And
the
by the
experience.
way,
But
bring
yes.
the birds or
Oh,
the
yeah.
penguins.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Sure. It's always cuter when there's something fuzzy running around.
It sure is.
But yeah, I did. I went to Singapore for about 5 weeks. We were there. My husband and my 2 children went with me, so it was a whole Mattis family affair. But we really were there. The aquarium is working with the Marine Life Park in Singapore. They're building it right now on Sentosa Island. And we were there to help them set up their education programs. You know, there's no reason to start from scratch. We've been doing this for 35 years. We have an incredible expertise in education programs around marine issues. So we really were happy to go and help. And it continues on. We have a 3-year contract to work with them already, so we're looking forward to help them develop the entire cadre of programs. So it's really exciting, and
Well, you
it was
come
a
back-
totally different world.
Yes, and tell us all about that.
I definitely will.
What is amazing about that is the expertise and the talent that's right here at Mystic Aquarium is sought out internationally. So, and we have this right in our backyard, which is amazing. So, tell us a little bit about what's going on at the Mystic Aquarium that our local viewers can enjoy.
I would love to. Well, if you haven't heard enough already, the Titanic exhibit officially opened at Sea Research
And
Foundation and Mystic Aquarium.
It is great. The opening was last week, and what a great turnout, and it was beautiful,
Yeah,
wonderful.
it's-
And I'm not saying anything because you have to come.
You have
I'm
to
not
see it
gonna
for
tell
yourself.
you all
Yep.
about it, and you have to come and visit.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much to do. There's so many interesting features of it, and it tells the incredible story of Dr. Ballard and the moment of discovery, and really goes into a lot of detail about Titanic. So everybody will really enjoy it. It's a great family trip. There's lots of things for the kids to interact with, as well as adults to learn from. So that's definitely exciting.
Good.
Yeah, and we also have, 'tis the season, it's starting to get warm,
Yes.
and we are thinking about summer. So we are reserving our summer camp programs. We have camps for everything from
Still
3-year-olds
availability?
to 17-year-olds. We still have availability at all the different age groups, and just all kinds of different camps based on animals, based on Titanic and ocean discovery, half-day camps for the youngest students, full-day camps. They go out on the water. So there's lots of excitement.
Good. Good.
Right.
Yeah, and one more. Oh, I'm not done
But
yet.
wait.
I know, but wait,
There's more.
Kelly is here.
I've got to make very good use of my
Oh
time.
yes, absolutely.
If you may also know, next week is Earth Day.
Yes, yeah.
So obviously protecting our oceans is really important to us at the Mystic Aquarium. So we'll be sponsoring events on the weekend of the 21st and the 22nd. You can visit mysticaquarium.org for additional details. But we'll have all kinds of information on freshwater ecosystems, on amphibians, on pollution, in a fun and interactive way that people can learn about the local environment and find out what each one of us can do to make a difference. So.
Good.
And so the next time, until we set up this show for Singapore, you'll
Yes.
bring us some stuff.
I
like
will.
For show and tell.
Yeah.
I didn't want to
Okay.
come my first time for the season
That's right.
and overplay my hand. So
That's
I
right.
figured my smiling face was enough for the first time.
Absolutely.
And then
Welcome back.
we'll just
Welcome
build
back.
from here. Thank you.
Thanks,
It's great to
Kelly.
see you.
And we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Sounds perfect.
Okay. All right. So Tricia, what else is going on?
All right, so a couple things just to update you all on. As a reminder, May 11th over at the Velvet Mill in Stonington Borough is the Fusion event that is co-sponsored by the Greater Westerly Pawcatuck Area Chamber of Commerce and the Mystic Chamber of Commerce. And as part of that, we want to thank Valenti, who stepped up as one of our sponsors, and Sue Adams from Gira over, who's a beautiful event and floral
designer?
Yeah, she's amazing. She's going to help us transform the warehouse inside the Velvet Mill, where we'll be having this event and having sugar play. It's going to be a fun night. So May 11th, feel free to give us a call for tickets. And a quick reminder, the bridge is now open, or will be open in the next day or two for 2-lane traffic. So definitely come to downtown and support the local businesses, because they need that extra support from the local people.
Fantastic. Well, Tricia, we
Suzette.
talk about fantastic events and we talk about small businesses. And I'm going to just kind of let you introduce our next guest.
I would love to. Well, we have from Work Vessels for Vets, we have Sean Coleman and John Niekrash from Work Vessels for Vets. And Sean is also operator of Grossman Seafood over in Groton and Mystic. So we have kind of two folds going on, because the two of those pieces, Work Vessels for Vets and Grossman Seafood, have kind of converged to bring us Operation Lobster Dinner. So that's kind of the introduction and how the two parties have come together. And from there, what I'd like to do is have John say a few words and have Sean say a few words and talk a little bit about this partnership and a little bit about each other's organizations and the businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I founded Work Vessels for Vets. It actually was 4 years ago, early April.
4 years ago, you have had some major accomplishments in 4 years.
Yeah, we've helped over 500 vets start their own businesses or be able to go back to school across the country in that time. But it started, and that's how Sean and I know each other. I've been a commercial lobsterman here in the Mystic area for the last 25 years, and was donating. I had my boat. I was getting a new boat built, a bigger boat. And I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with the existing boat. And I decided I would give it to a returning Marine, along with the good folks at the Knowing Shipyard. So they fixed up the boat. We presented it to a Marine 4 years ago, April, and unbeknownst to us, Senator Joe Lieberman attended the event. You probably remember some of this, and all the national media goes
I was there. It was a great
story.
day.
And next thing you know, we were inundated with people that wanting to help us to help vets, and we were going to do a boat or two a year, and it turns out we've now helped well over, as they say, well over cars and vans and trucks, farmland, tractors, tools, etc. So it's grown into this monstrosity.
So it's not just the boats.
No, it's not just the boats.
grows-
A vessel could be anything that'll help a vet get from one place
It could be
to the
even
next.
computers.
Right.
Yeah, it could be laptops.
You
We do a lot of laptops for the kids that come
And
back to
and
school.
one of the most amazing projects that you've done that I'd like to talk a little bit more about too is the farmland.
Yeah, we have a farm that we actually bought the property for a wounded, who was severely wounded at the time, Marine who returned home, and he had been so severely wounded in Iraq that he was basically on his deathbed and vowed that he would do something to help fellow vets if he could only survive. And he did. It took him a long time, but he was able to come home. And he was a third-generation blueberry farmer, so he wanted to set up a farm that he would help other vets that wanted to become farmers, or to help them to get back on their feet.
You know what's amazing about this individual is what kept him going was the prospect to help other people.
Yeah, that's what kept
drove
him
him.
alive.
Right.
That's amazing.
And what we did is we initially purchased 8 acres of land 2 years ago that they were farming, and they are kind of outgrown them. They have all these vets that are coming back now.
Now, where is this piece of land?
This is in Jacksonville, Florida. And right now we just purchased an additional 7 acres of land that we're in the process of closing on, so to be able to double the size of the farm. And we lease it to them. We own the land. We lease it to them for $1 a year for 30 years, and it's basically so they don't have to worry about paying for taxes or anything with the land. But it's been a remarkable. He's a remarkable human being. If you ever met him, and he's helping so many vets, and that's what we do. We're 100% nonprofit. We use our own money or whatever's donated for the great people. We're so proud of the Mystic area because this is where
That's
we
where it
started.
started.
Right at the Knowing Shipyard.
Right.
How can people support Work Vessels for Vets?
They can go to our website, wvfv.net is the shortest, the easiest way to get in there. And they can donate if they have cars or a truck or tools or whatever.
Or cash.
Or cash. Cash is good.
Donate,
We're only as good as what we're able to raise. And our goal is to help thousands of vets. We're not going to settle for helping 500 or 1,000. We can help change the country, get it back on the proper path. And that's what we're doing. I mean, the stories. And these vets want to help each other.
Absolutely.
They hire each other.
They've created their
and
own
then-
support
Then
system.
these kids just on the farm, for example, they learn how to farm. Then they're going to go out and start their own farms. and we're going to help them to get the land and get them to help other vets and produce products that they sell. And
But I think
it's
they're
a great,
helping you,
story.
John.
I'm sorry?
I think they're helping you.
Am I out there?
Yeah.
I mean, just sitting here listening to it and the spirit and the passion, absolutely. I think it's coming twofold.
No, I think it probably is.
I think that is it.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
by listening to you and your stories, you're also helping us to understand as
that's
well,
great.
too.
That's
So
great.
I think that's wonderful. So, Sean, where do you come in on all this? I mean, Grossman's, come on, what do you come in on all this?
We had a similar idea, but it was a little more close to home, and we wanted to pay our respects and just show our military how we appreciate their sacrifices. Well, not just the military, but their families.
Right.
Their families' sacrifices just as steep.
Right.
And we came up with the Operation Lobster Dinner, and for years, John came in with lobsters, and I had no idea that he did that. And we tossed the idea out at him, and he said, "Really? You know what I do?" So we kind of just started talking, and then it just started building from there. And as Operation Lobster Dinner grew, all the proceeds go to Work Vessels for Veterans, so he can do his amazing things while we say thank you here locally. And it's just grown from there. We're in our 4th year now. So
I think
That's amazing.
That's fantastic. I really do.
And this event, Operation Lobster Dinner, how many families in the 4 years have you fed in that celebratory day?
over 2,000, and we've raised $20,000 for Work Vessels. We've had
Wow.
hundreds
That's remarkable.
hundreds of volunteers. It's just been amazing. Amazing. I can't really put it into words. You really need to be at the event to actually feel, and words just don't convey.
Well, I think you said something important, Sean, when we talk about these vets and of course whatever service that they're in, but the families really are important too, and sometimes they're forgotten.
Absolutely.
They are the ones that really, on a daily basis, are dealing with everyday life as they support, and their man or woman are out there fighting for our country and the better good to really make a better place for us.
Each of us.
And I think sometimes, we forget that, because what we do is we just kind of go on with our lives, and we forget that, out there, unless it's in the newspaper or something's brought to light from what you and John are doing, we have to remember it's not just that one day, July 15th, or it's not that one event. I think what we need to do is get out there that this is an everyday challenge, but it's also hope. And I think that's very, very important.
Yeah, and what you guys are doing collectively is you're giving hope to so many people and so many veterans, and to give them an opportunity to, get together as a community with each other at Operation Lobster Dinner and with the farmlands. The fact that they're able to help each other and mentor and support one another. And you mentioned earlier some of the people that you're helping, they're kids. They're still young.
They're young, and
they're young. They have years and years to go to be contributing members of our society,
No
and you're
question.
giving them all these tools
Right.
to help them when they come back, which is such a wonderful gift.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the unemployment rate, and you won't read this much in the newspapers. We tend to, as a society, kind of keep those things hush hush. But the unemployment rate's over 30% for vets under 24 years old, and the suicide rate. There's on any given day, there are 18 suicides in the United States of vets every day. And you don't hear about that, and we know about that, but
That's
we have
unacceptable.
to wake the country up.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
it's time for America to wake up and
Exactly.
take care of those that are willing to put their
Right.
lives on the line to protect us.
And what you
Right.
guys are doing is taking that kind of into your hands and saying, we're going to make a difference. And so I applaud the both of you for making that difference.
Well, what Sean does is unbelievable. It really is.
But we talk about these young kids too, and like you said, they could be as young as 18 years old. And Tricia made a good point that they have their whole lives. But the other thing is they're not only disabled. Some of them are, and they may look fine, but the emotion, like you said, the suicide. I think that's very important that we get out there and support them as well. So this is just one dinner.
One dinner.
Okay,
One
so
really
one
huge,
Really
one
big
really
one.
huge
Yeah.
dinner.
Where does it take place, Sean?
It used to be right at our building. We recently last year,
Grossman's?
last year we moved it on base at North Lake,
But I think you
that
had
was-
to.
Yeah, it was getting cramped.
Right.
But and if it rained, we had problems because we didn't have tents.
Right.
They've got a very nice pavilion. They've got a lake there. They got a sprawling lawn or a golf course where you can really just spread things out.
Yeah.
And everybody seemed to be a little more comfortable there. So it was definitely a good move.
Well, I know there's probably many stories that as you interact with some of these families and these young men, but is there any one particular story that stands out in your mind, Sean?
I got asked this last year, and I didn't have an answer, but I got an answer this time.
I think you're very busy that day, too.
I'm a little bit.
Yes.
of a-
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Putting out many fires. No one particular story, but as I'm walking around, as a manager in my field, it's my job to pay attention to what's going on around me.
Right.
And as I'm walking up and down and through the picnic tables, I'm looking at faces, and it's the children, and just seeing them running around, smiling, the bright eyes, having a great time. We had a Captain Jack Sparrow lookalike. You probably saw him at the Taste of Mystic. He's a good friend of mine.
Yes.
Oh,
So,
okay.
that was intentional. But yes, we bring him in, and he stays with the kids all day long. He'll take thousands of pictures and just get down on one knee and talk to the kids, and that's inspiring.
Yeah.
So.
And I have to say, many people have their views, and John, you could relate to this on war and on service. But there's one thing that we have to remember, and I always tell people this: it doesn't matter what your view is on the war. What matters is how you can support the military and those
Absolutely.
people. I mean, your views, and when I say it doesn't matter, I don't mean it does matter, but we have to remember that these are human beings that have taken the step
Sacrifice.
and made the sacrifices their own choices.
Very true.
And I want to make that very clear because there's so much controversy on war, but these people chose.
And I have to thank our community because I feel like our community really, in showing, and seeing the success and how Work Vessels for Vets was founded in Mystic, in Noank, and seeing the success that has come out of that. Operation Lobster Dinner, I really, we have to thank our community because I think our community, what you just said, I think our community locally really gets
Oh,
that.
no question.
You know, and that's something I
Right.
commend.
about-
Yes, I agree. It's not what party you're related to. It's not what's going on. It's what can we do as a community.
So in fact, a
to-
great example for you locally is tomorrow morning we're presenting a 15-passenger van at Valenti Auto Mall to a wounded diver group out of Georgia that takes disabled vets scuba diving.
Thank you, Valenti.
Yes.
Thank you,
thank you.
Valenti.
He
John
does
Devine, I was on an
just-
airplane
yeah.
with him 2 weeks ago. And I was telling Sean this story earlier today. Early that morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, I do some of my emails before I go to the airport to fly on business. I was on a business trip. And there was this guy in Georgia requesting a 15-passenger van. He had been in touch with us before. As I say, he takes disabled vets scuba diving in Florida, but they needed a bigger van to take the vets. And so I read it at 4 o'clock in the morning. 7 o'clock, I'm on a flight down south, and John Devine's on the plane, the general manager of Valenti.
Yes.
He's next to me because we're on Southwest, so we catch
That's
up.
amazing.
And then as the plane is starting to come in, he says, by the way, I have this 15-passenger van at a Baptist church traded in last week. Do you ever have a need for something like that? And I looked at him like,
Oh my
whoa,
God.
wait till you hear this story.
Yeah.
So tomorrow they're driving up,
That is-
flying up, they're going to drive the van back. And they fixed the van up on their dime. And I mean, the local community here is amazing how they take care of
That's one step above a miracle.
Yeah. Remarkable.
I mean, Sean, at
Yeah.
the same time, you're sitting next to. Yeah. So, anyways, how's the family? By the way, I have a 15-passenger van. You know what I mean?
And it was
That's
What are the odds?
earlier that morning. It's a true story.
That's. I mean, that's like I said, one step up a miracle. But I think when you do good things, and it just spirals like that. I mean, Tricia and I have seen that. We sit there and you go, oh well,
It starts
this
to
is
gravitate.
Yeah,
It does.
It starts to gravitate.
And I think the chamber is a great example, and Tricia and her staff, conduits and liaisons, and to the community. And so I think that that is a credit.
Yeah.
And to the community.
You know, and you've been with Work Vessels for Vets has been an inspiration in showing what people can do, you know, as individuals in the community. And one thing, Grossman's as a business has been an inspiration to other business people. Suzette, when we talk, she's always talking about for businesses reinventing themselves, and especially in a tough economy, you have to branch out and look for something different and make sure you're telling the community what you're doing and find that thing that's going to get that attention. And Grossman's has done a couple things in the past few years.
A few things.
And major things. Not on top of Operation Lobster Dinner, giving this huge amount of give back to our military in the community, has opened up a catering department,
We're
beachside catering.
1 year anniversary.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
And so on the heels of a 1 year anniversary, just recently had some more amazing news to share.
Yes, we actually expanded our product line at the Mystic store to include meat sales. So we do seafood's our primary, but we also do a full meat case with boneless roasts and steaks and pork and chicken. And we saw a need when Universal went out of business for the community and what was going on in downtown Mystic and people not wanting to go over the bridge. And we thought it was a fit. And thinking outside the box and reinventing ourselves, and it just kind of captured so many different areas. It was one of the few decisions I make that feels good.
Well, it's funny you say that because
Or right, I should say.
we're constantly telling the small businesses to look at their business, be proactive about it, and
Evaluate.
reinvent yourself, find the niche, you know, and you certainly have done that, Sean, and that's a credit to you and your staff and just your forward thinking. So that's. Anything else you do?
I
mean, I'm just.
You said
I'm
one
getting
of the
tired,
few things.
you know what I mean, sitting next to you, but we thank you as well.
Well, thank you. It's we do have one other thing. I can't really let that one out of the bag yet, but that,
You're going to come back,
that
right?
one's that's a big one. That's a big one.
Yeah.
And,
Really?
yeah,
All right, we'll be watching.
We're reinventing ourselves in Groton, so.
Oh, that's fantastic.
We have some really cool things coming.
All right.
You can follow us on Facebook, and we post updates there.
Yeah. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Hopefully
John,
in a month.
Where do you see this all going?
Well, as I say, I firmly believe we can help change the course of the country in our own little way by helping these vets. I mean, if there's a vet out there that has a business plan, an idea of what he wants to do with the rest of his life, and he comes to us, we're going to find a way to help that vet. We get a lot of notes from folks saying, "Hey, I sure could use a car." Well, that's really not what fits our plan. It has to be an actual business plan, and we vet the vet.
Right.
But I firmly believe if we can help 5,000-10,000 vets set up their own businesses and they hire other vets, that we can change the course of our country.
Well, and the
I believe
economy.
that.
You're not only helping the
Yes.
veterans, you're helping the economy.
Right.
You're getting things going. You're
It's a
keeping
domino
things
effect.
flowing a little
And
bit.
these are hard-working, trained individuals.
You know, speaking of
Why
that,
aren't we helping them? Why are we off helping somebody who doesn't really want to
help
work?
themselves? Right.
These people want to work.
Right.
Well, those are the ones we should be taking care of.
And the funny thing is, when I read, occasionally on some of the vets that are homeless. You know what I mean? If they were engaged in something or had a job or something to look forward to, or they want to work as well. Our vets should not be homeless.
No, they shouldn't.
I mean, it just sort of contradicting.
They should be the first ones we help.
Exactly.
Out of the pool of,
they should.
of
They're
homeless.
helping us, but yet sometimes we turn our backs, and
No question.
So I think that both you and Sean have brought a different light to certainly what the two of you do, and we're very, very grateful. And a couple of years we honored you community service award a few years ago at our Greater
Our
Mystic
annual dinner.
Chamber of
correct.
Commerce, and that was wonderful too. And so people were. I have to tell you, John and Sean, when you went to the podium, there was the very first time. We have a hard time getting people to shh. But as
They were listening to every word you guys said.
Yes,
absolutely.
I wish you could
Yeah.
come up and speak again. But anyways, thank you so much for all you do. And let's just get
thank
out
you.
there again. The date?
July 15th.
Okay. And do you have a website?
Yes.
Okay. What is that?
It's grossmanseafood.com.
Okay. Because I want to tell you, Sean and I were just talking food before, and it was great. They have great stuff. So make
That's
sure you participate and help out Grossman's also. And John, let's get the website.
WVFV.net is
Perfect.
is the easiest way to get at us.
Okay, now you guys come back and join us again.
I'd
We
love
will.
to. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you.
Enjoyed
Tricia?
being here.
Good
Suzette.
evening, and I'll see you next week.
All right.
We are Mystic Matters. Good evening.
Woman spirit fly into mystic. Let your soul and spirit fly into mystic, into mystic, into mystic.